First in role and overall. Insane work. But we've got a draft here now as Weibo come out swinging. Galio and Rise have been staple bans against Doinb, but this Shanji Yorick, I think, is way more interesting than it gets banned.
I like that from Weibo because it looks like they're already trying to reduce variance in the game by getting rid of strong solo laners plus a Galio and then immediately slamming a Sion.
Look, Sion has been pretty influential ever since we got to see Bin and some other top laners pull it out very early on, like Flandra. But for Breathe, I feel like this isn't the champion that I really want to see him on because of the fact that he has been so influential in their team's victories, especially on champions like Mbessa and Gwen. So in doing so, they have given over Aki and Nefiri. So for NIP, whether or not they want to try to pick up their mid laner here for Doinb and trying to maybe try to find some counterpick, or maybe just go for an 80 carry because Varus is up and available.
Yeah, a couple good options. And if they want to go match the dive, they will give the Kai'Sa over to leave. And now for Weibo, you had mentioned that Vi, typically a really good answer into Nefiri. It's not available. What are you looking at here?
Well, with Leaf taking Kai'Sa, I am looking at NIP kind of playing a dive composition. And so being able to outrange them and picking champions that are going to dominate in laning phase are going to be stuff that I am looking for. Weibo immediately snap up a Lilia and a Varus. Lilia has been a champion that is starting to grow in popularity, obviously, as one of an AP champions. Surprised it hasn't been the brand, and Zyra has obviously kind of started to fall away. But Varus for light means that, you know, when we see Weibo, they can either interact at range or simply just play a scaling game. We're getting Swain. All right.
Oh.
Doinb.
Oh. All right, bro's cooking.
Yeah.
You know what? This is what we've talked about. This is what he's known for. The dark technology. It's coming through with this Swain. You know, as you mentioned, Weibo, a team that wants to leverage some long range. That is something that is very beneficial against the Swain. So I'm a little concerned that he's going to have struggles trying to lock down this Lilia, and a little concerned that without burning summoners, he's not going to be able to get on top of light.
I'm kind of okay with this. I mean, you're playing into the Sion, right? So Sion's going to be in range of you. Lilia has to walk in, and so kind of incentivizing maybe a Rylai's very early on here.
True.
This is not the first time we have seen Swain this year, especially here in the LPL. Rookie and Knight are two players that have played it in Split 1. Kind of took a little bit of a backseat, but I imagine with how strong Rod of Ages is right now, Seraph as well, these are things that can start to work in his favor. So if Weibo decide to kind of continue a composition that is going to want to play short range, play in the faces of NIP, then I think we're perfectly fine with having a Swain on our side here. As we get to the second half of bans, Renata and Silas taken away by NIP, and I think for Weibo, probably looking at another engage support. If not, getting rid of an 80 carry, getting rid of the Corki, they think that this is going somewhere else. They think the Swain is going to another lane, maybe top lane, yeah?
Maybe support. I know it's not really a support pick as much anymore. When they last changed Swain, they looked to take some of his power budget out of support and back into a solo lane. So clearly not going to be a support here as the Rakan gets locked in to match this Nefiri and match this Kai'Sa, get to the back line and cause a whole lot of havoc.
Yeah, a lot of dive here for NIP. Their ability to control space is so good, but here for Weibo, I'm going to need some kind of way to interact with them at range. Azir is not the most fun matchup, but is something that you can try to get some mileage out of. And for Lilia, I mean, you kind of have to think about like 80 mid laners, but I mean, do you really want to play Yone into a Swain? Talia is not a very fun matchup to play either. I feel like maybe they're just trying to get underneath Xiaohu's champion pool here.
Yeah, maybe. All right, we'll see. All right, this Talia will get locked in. It's a legendary pick for Xiaohu. Did lose on it the last time out, a near 70% win rate overall in his career, though. And for Urha, they're going to give him the Nautilus for his first game with the main squad.
Oh my god. And we're getting Potentially some different lane picks here. I mean,
Dude,
this
locking
is
that
most
Lucian.
likely now Swain going over to Shanji. Shanji has been one of the biggest innovators in top lane.
They locked it in!
Kind of like the new age Flandra, minus, some of the winning ways. But we are getting what looks to be Lucian mid for Doinb.
Let's go!
Versus Xiaohu on Talia.
That seems awful. You know, it can be a little rough
I think that
times.
there's the issue with Lucian right now is that he has, I think his mana costs are really prohibitive to doing early trading. Yeah. NIP are in such a weird spot. They're a very squishy team. They're going to have a lot of HP thanks to the bruiser items on Aki and how Swain is going to want to build. This feels like a composition that's going to play really well from Fog, having the Rakan snap engage alongside the Lucian, being able to find poke onto the enemy team, whereas for Weibo, the ability for them to play on side lanes, Talia being able to move in between, I think having this Varus is going to be more important for them to take control of mid waves. I like how standard this Weibo comp is, but I'm a fan of NIP right now, man. Like,
I think
Lucian
it's cool.
mid to try to deal with the maybe some of the weaker early game of Talia. I think it's really creative.
I'm going to keep it a stack. Yeah, it's going to be great for immediate lane, but Lucian is so difficult to play into this composition. Like, Lucian into Lilia is a very difficult fight to pilot into a Varus as well that can poke you from long range and outrange you a lot. And then, of course, you have to watch out for Talia's Legos that she's going to put on the ground, get that micro stuns off. You know, it's going to be worrisome, but if Doinb is able to get a large early lead and leverage that into power in the mid game, that'll be very beneficial. It's just we haven't really seen him dominate lane very often.
He's not a dominant lane player, and I mean, this is just NIP in their home arena, man. Can they make it work? Got the Gyos.
Dude, that's so sick. Yo, props to that guy who is popping off and starting the cheering. Like, you can hear it in his voice. That's passion. That is League of Legends that everybody in here, in this chat, on this cast, in this game loves.
I like how aggressive they're trying to look here. Doinb does have to take his recall. Same thing with what we saw from Light earlier on, taking a singled out Kaisa Q. And this is going to be the Electrocute coming in for Doinb. We didn't see what runes Shanji is taking, considering they're also covered here by the overlay for Ravenous Flock. So if for some reason you're like, why is there a Swain? Well, one, into a Scion is a free scaling matchup. There we go, we get to see it. So, all right, no green tree. We're just going for Absolute Focus and, Transcendence and Mana Flow Ring. Okay, not bad. Not our Mana Flow Band. Not bad. Definitely one that is going to be a build that is definitely trying to scale up and be more relevant in team fights.
All right, both junglers starting on the bottom side for this first game. Looks like Aki elected to start his buff first. So, interesting thing to note is leaving ppgod dominating this lane early, getting that good push in. Not unexpected given the fact that Erha is coming in. You know, it's what last season was his first time on support. Has been a mid laner for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Erha, I mean, regardless of his experience, like, you're playing Varus Nautilus. After you hit level 2, you should just be a lot more dominant in terms of how much damage you're actually able to get down and, the duo lane here. So I am expecting that Light and Erha will be able to get priority. Last time we get to see Swain top, Zoom was still playing and is 1,000 days ago. That's insane.
That's a long time, my friend.
There's
initial
ppgod.
engage on the ppgod. As you said, use that power and bully him around.
So now what I want to kind of when we're peeling away and moving the camera back a little bit, what I am looking for from NIP and specifically Doinb on this Lucian is, can he find good burst trades versus Xiaohu? Or when we get into spots around river and he has his culling, how is he going to be looking to trade his ultimate and his position in a fight to deal damage onto something. Because with Electrocute and with Culling, I'm just going to assume that Tian and Light just get bursted instantaneously.
Yeah.
Same thing with Talia. So this is going to be a matchup that we're kind of really interested to see, as especially, like we were saying, Doinb has been so creative with his mid picks, and most of them have been about setting up other players or being able to move around the map. So the Lucian is, in terms of identity, very unique.
Yeah, which is really what surprised me that they went with this Lucian pick, given the fact that you have Aki coming through on this Nefiri. It really feels a little strange, but listen, I'm here for it, right? And you know, I trust that this NIP squad will be able to get the job done with these picks. So we're just seeing some initial backs getting taken here, but no CS lead or anything to speak of, so all's quiet in this mid lane.
Aki is looking for something. As soon as the TP kind of finishes here, if Talia steps over that halfway line,
Yep.
Yeah, jumps over the wall.
You have stepped too far, Xiaohu. You've used all of your abilities.
Oh.
Aki. It's a big sad.
Yeah, but look at where the wave is now. Talia should be able to very quietly push this wave in, but already half HP against Electrocute. Every 8 to 10 seconds, we're going to be looking at that as a potential way for them to be able to fight again. As it does mean that Tian is in a pretty good spot right now. Got multiple of his camps here. Has a pretty sizable lead versus his opponent as this Lilia. And when you are playing into a Kaisa and a Swain and this Rakan, it is remarkably easy to get enough of those stacks down. So, going to be something that we'll be kind of taking a look at for this team, as Weibo as a whole really need to rely on each other and some of their experience to be able to win this matchup, considering how much of a struggle their early split 2 has been.
Yeah, and, you know, just what we said about the BLG WE game, right? Tian, you didn't get disrupted on this Lilia, now you're looking to disrupt Aki just a little bit. Trying to shove him off as getting knocked by the Swain all the way from top lane, as that'll always be annoying. That'll never not be annoying.
I'm glad they gave him this ability. His old W was really cringe anyway, so.
Whoa, what was it? I actually do not remember. Don't worry about it. That's something that can wait for another time. As ppgod shows
Pretty
up
sure
in
it
the
was
mid lane.
that's what Nevermove used to be, if I remember correctly. Or Nevermore. Yeah, Nevermore, that was the one where he put like the target on the ground and then it rooted everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then his E was the one that did like the curse. Yeah, this champ was really cringe beforehand. So
It was very different for those who.
So now we're seeing Weibo. They have first move onto these grubs, and they are a team that probably wants to be on side lane a little bit more. NIP are a team that definitely thrive in chaos and being able to force team fights very often. So being able to grab the Herald allows for someone like Sion or Talia to get a little bit more done on the map if they get some alone time on the turret. So we're already seeing on the opposite side, NIP are looking to trade, but good job from Breathe, recognizing with this Sion with Flash and ult, you can kind of just stand here and really just be a nuisance.
Yep, just able to try and delay Aki. A double seismic shove lands. Both members are going to be put to sleep. The question is, do you have any extra damage? Doinb, though, it's a lot of magic resistance in those boots. The turnaround, Culling, it's onto Urha. The knockup is there. So is Aki. Urha can't get away. It's first blood going over to Aki.
There we go. They made the play happen, even with how far up Doinb and ppgod were. That was an ultimate from Tian, and the flick from Xiaohu actually wasn't able to get all that much done. So now it turns into one kill going over to Nefiri, as well as now potentially more, as the dragon being started by NIP again, but it is on Vision, so they'll grab the first kill, but Leave can't even do anything versus this Sion right now.
Yeah, and that's going to vastly affect how things are going to go objective-wise. Let's take a look at this replay here. A beautiful seismic shove coming down from Zhou.
Yeah. Doinb, small bit of mechanics. We canceled a couple of autos there in between the W passive and everything, but getting yourself the kill is pretty nice. Again, that flash now missing from both Doinb and from Urha. Might be something that they can try to look for, especially once we get to level 6s for both of our supports. But no dragon being taken, and looks like that's going to kind of be a constant. Aki just recognizing, like, I have topside camps. This is just not important right now. And I like what Weibo are doing. They're trying to use the fact that Erha and specifically Light is so safe by himself that they can just move in and get Tian a pretty nice lead. At the very least, it's information.
Erha moving into this jungle, clearing out a pink. Looking to just put some more pressure down and do what he can to disrupt Aki just a little bit. As Tian has been under no pressure at all this game. Lots of pings coming down on this top side as IP wants to start up their own red buff. They're not even able to. You see Shanji moving down on the Swain. He's about half HP. Xiaohu is coming over as well. The knockups are there. They're going to go on into Erha, and Erha's going to go down to Shanji. ppgod able to get out. We're going to go in. Here's Aki. Doinb, as you said, on the way. Light lying in wait. Chains of Corruption going down. That means Doinb's going to get rooted up by them, but no further fight. So a nice little pick for NIP.
I'll take that. We got to protect our red buff. We also got a lot of flashes. No flash from Tian, no flash from Xiaohu, and we can just go back to our lanes. Really good stuff here from NIP, and Weibo just not able to punish. I feel like maybe if Light had moved just a little bit sooner, but I assume that there was a way for him to be tending. They just don't have the damage there. So good enough punish coming in from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and they're just getting gifted a lot of early gold leads. Now it's 9.5 minutes. We've finished a Rod of Ages here for Shanji. Doinb looks to be going for what looks to be an Essence Reaver first, and I'm really happy with her NIP here in this game.
Yeah, I think the worst part is that they weren't able to secure that first dragon, but honestly, with the way it's been going, that's okay. Had you gotten nothing else off of it, then yes, you're talking about, oh, this is disastrous, but Aki's gotten going. As you said, Shanji going to stack up that Rod of Ages. This is good. Now it just depends on if NIP can continue to push the envelope just a little bit. ppgod's going to hit 6 real soon. He's always a little over halfway there.
Yeah. Doinb trying to hover for his jungler. You can see that Xiaohu was giving him a bit of grief, but will be trying to reinforce after pushing in this wave. I'm sure that Aki's a little bit question mark pinging about, like, I don't know, are they actually going to be trying to go for something here? But due to them moving over, and with Leave also recalling, does mean that for right now, Weibo will have access to pushing in mid first. And you see the pinks coming out. Seems like Weibo are going to be trying to focus on getting more of these grubs and maybe even get more than 4.
Yeah, you know what? That'll be pretty good for them. As you mentioned earlier, better off in a side lane for Weibo. You can see Xiaohu trying to put down whatever pressure he can onto Doinb as the second set of grubs has been started up. Aki and Leaf are in the river. ppgod's there too. You know, Weibo's mid lane, bot lane is still in the mid lane. Doinb going to dash forward, drop the culling onto Xiaohu. Try to force them off. But, Doinb out of mana right now. Pretty useless when Lucian's out of gas.
That is basically what I've been kind of alluding to, and what I mentioned at the very beginning was that his mana costs are really high.
Right.
Kind of keep him
Tian going to get engaged on. ppgod trying to get in there. Double knockup is there. Tian is so low, and they will be able to find him, but they lose the Rakan in return. And on the backside, Leave dies too, and Light's getting pressure from Aki under the turret, just able to get away. The Demonic Ascension, the Flash, and Shanji will be able to claim the life of Erha.
Leave used his ultimate and all of his summoner spells just to barely not get the kill onto Tian, so he puts himself in pretty big jeopardy for that fight. Thankfully, for the side of NIP, they invested a lot. They'll get some of these grubs, but that'll be 4 grubs in total for Weibo. And on look at the trade, almost everybody from the side of NIP, outside of the person who wasn't there in Doinb, loses their flash. So I feel like the rest of NIP just making way too much of a play. I love the fact of how fast this engage was from NIP, but look at what you sacrificed for it. Rakan ends up going down, another kill here onto Leave, and you still lose out a majority of the grubs here. So Ninjas in Pyjamas having to kind of overforce here in a play where kind of put them in a good position if they had just waited.
Yeah, and I want to shout out your boy Light in that fight, hitting the Chains of Corruption onto ppgod before he could actually charm the Varus. He was able to get enough damage down on ppgod and on Aki as well.
Wait, Xiaohu's dead.
Hold on.
Xiaohu's dead. Oh, no. That would have landed.
Oh, Xiaohu's a liver.
Oh.
He managed to survive. Oh, that's crazy. He should have been dead. You're so right, brother.
Well, Now we're kind of looking at the map right now, and I will say, as much as, this game has been, for the most part, NIP favored, with them being able to pick up kills, find objectives here or there. Lilia is starting to get to that point. The clear gets a lot faster, we get more AP items, has the Leandries like we had mentioned earlier, and if Aki is going to maintain his lead, this game does not get much easier for him to play. There's a Talia on the enemy team, and Nautilus is not going to do him any favors, so you're going to need to see NIP be a bit creative with who and where they find their fights, and so far it has turned into very, very small gold leads for some of these lanes.
And recall, a lot of their creativity came from the mid lane through Doinb and his champion picks, his ability to leverage whatever CC he had or be able to move around the map really well. He doesn't have that CC on this Lucian pick, right? And you're starting to see that, it means that NIP is having a harder time actually starting these plays. They have to do it through ppgod and play through Aki.
Yeah. Here for Weibo now. They have control of the river. I like what they've been doing with Erha and Tian is just sit in river, sit in fog of war, and either we're invading or just trying to empower one of our solo laners, particularly Xiaohu so far in this match. So it'll be the smite being forced out by Aki just to secure that. And, I mean, look, Tian still has all of his topside camps. He'll go down towards the bottom lane if he really wants to, and there's a dragon spawning in 50 seconds. I think Weibo are a little bit more concerned with trying to pick that one up, since it seems like for now, especially with Static Shiv, they're not having the easiest of times of being able to clear mid-wave and hit.
Let's not allow NIP to stack those dragons up, because then it starts getting a little difficult. You're almost required to fight for the third dragon, and maybe you're not fighting on the best of terms. There's Xiaohu scouting out. Doinb knows that his dude's in the area.
He doesn't know he's in the bush, though.
Oh, ppgod shows up here. Xiaohu trying to keep ppgod away, loses half his health bar for it.
All right, well, this is now just a commitment. I mean, if you're NIP, you're just looking towards the top side of the map. You're almost never going to be able to contest towards this bottom side. Doinb crashes what looks to be half a wave onto Xiaohu. Xiaohu has TP if he really wants to. They're going to try and make this a numbers play and pull Xiaohu over for this to happen.
All right.
Tian getting caught preemptively, though. Nice dodges.
Yeah, Tian is dancing around, and here comes Big Sion. Shanji in the middle of 3 right now. The Mnemonic Ascension gets some damage out, but can't survive. Xiaohu with the teleport in. Had used the Weaver's Wall. Now Aki's kind of caught in the corner as he gets tagged up. He's going to be put to sleep, but he hits the dog.
Where are we going?
ppgod falls too. A 3-0 for Weibo Gaming.
NIP just do absolutely jack all in that fight and lose position in this game. That'll be the dragon going over. If they want, they can also move over. It looks like it takes them too long to finish this objective. What a sloppy fight from the Ninjas of Pyjamas, and Weibo kind of get gifted a win here in that fight.
Yeah, it was very, very ugly AlkBattery. Let's take a look at this replay, although I'm not sure I really want to. As soon as Tian just broke his ankles, I mean, you knew it was going to be bad.
Sion comes in, so much focus on the Shanji, he doesn't have so many resistances, and then look at what happens here. ppgod used the ultimate only onto Nautilus. Aki is stuck in between the wall and the hard place, and then Leave just completely abandons his team trying to pick up onto Erha. This is just not the meaningful fight that we needed to see from them, especially with the investments that they made. We knew that Doinb didn't have ultimate, so why are we even contesting for that objective? Just make the play onto the Herald instead.
Yeah, and going back to how hard it is for Lucian to play fights, I mean, he was there late, but he knew Light was around the corner, outranges him, has to be careful there. He got tagged by Lilia, so it's like, oh man, I can't actually get in and deal any of my damage. He was a non-factor in that fight too. And, Weibo Gaming, a nice little play there from their core, really liking what Breathe and Tian were able to do there.
Despite the scoreline, Erha's also been quite fine. I think that I've so far really liked how he placed Vision so far. There's been a lot of wards, and hopefully we continue to see that NIP are just not clearing out, and they have no idea that they're there. So Weibo are getting a lot of free information that NIP are not able to act upon. So we're already seeing it here. I mean, no one's able to move Breathe out. I mean, until we get second or third items, depending on what they are here for NIP. Being able to deal with this Sion is going to be a true miracle here.
All right, we're expending double TPs. We are ready to go if you're NIP. They said, I didn't hear no bell, let's get in there. Aki in the backside is kind of stuck in the back of the pit as he was not able to secure the Herald. He'll be able to dash out of there, so double TPs for losing the objective.
Lucian's probably just going to have to take control of bottom lane wave. Yeah. That's tough. Like, Breathe will always be able to match. Now you basically are forced as NIP to play as like a 4 or 5 man. There are Hex Tech gates, so moving around the map is a little easier, but Weibo are going to be able to take first turret here. Remember, 4 grubs and 2 of them, and now they can recall, still have the Herald that is in their back pocket, and even play for the Dragon.
Okay,
this is very safe. This guy's walking out.
Yeah, I do not think Breathe is going to... Oh, wait, actually, Breathe. All right, you're going to burn his flash. You're going to dive. You got to go for it. Aki tanking up a lot of turret shots, and now he's on the wrong side of the tracks. An absolute disaster class for NIP. Doinb forced a flash away from Light's ultimate. You're right, it was fake.
It was very fake. I really don't see the vision there. That is, that's tough. That makes the game so much tougher to play now, because you already had lost out on the teleport, so Breeze will now be able to match and stop you from getting much here. Now you've also lost summoner spells from Doinb, so kind of a weird look. I get that, like, Breathe is soaking a lot of pressure for his team, but after he flashes, just get the wave, wait for Rakan, and either decide then that, you know, with Rakan there, they'll be able to make the play, or just call it off and move back into mid. NIP playing a little too fast, and that has been the hallmark of this team. They haven't been the best about playing around the map, you know, just this year in general. Some of the hands aren't quite there, but one of the hallmarks of this team is they're going to fight you, and they're going to force you to meet them out at a team fight. So I guess, you know, NIP just decided, hey, this game's getting a little too boring.
Yeah, they never met a fight they didn't like, Alk. But I've met some fights that I don't think NIP really should have enjoyed, and they have been plentiful this game, pretty much every single one. So we just crossed the 20-minute mark. Atacana spawned on the top side. A 4,000 gold lead for Weibo Gaming, and I must say, this Weibo game has looked quite stable.
Yeah. You know, minus the early game, we haven't really seen too much action, and this is where their composition starts to shine, having the Talia, who is just going to always be able to get around the map very fast, as well as clear minion waves. This Varus as well, very safe now, especially with the addition of the Edge of Night. So, I mean, they're just going to continue to scale. Tian's continuing to explode this lead in the jungle. And NIP are going to have to get, again, creative with how they find fights. They have no traditional frontliner here, and so being able to kind of snap and find engages is going to be quite tricky for them. Here's one of them, Tian!
Yeah, they snap it right off on Tian. Doinb and friends, they say, take this man down. They get a quick kill. They will move to the Drake.
Yeah, Doinb just points the one finger and he goes, that guy. Get rid of this one. Not too dissimilar to you know, their old days on FPX. So getting to see Tian versus Doinb is always a treat in terms of the matchup, but that'll be the Dragon going over to NIP. Don't know how much ability they'll be able to escape with, however, as they're kind of corralling this bottom side jungle. And okay, we get the picture.
This Dragon's still alive. Oh goodness! Yeah. All right, who's going to secure this one? It is going to be Aki. The smite fight. There wasn't really a fight. No smite to be had.
Why does he get to jump over that?
Way tanky. Xiaohu is stuck.
Xiaohu's now stuck. Right now. He has ultimate. They can make the turn though.
Yeah, they're so afraid of everybody else though. The rest of Weibo just hanging around, able to keep Xiaohu there. Leave it a cleanse to avoid getting hit by a seismic shove.
But we can't cleanse knockups, so.
Yeah, I don't really know why he did that.
Yeah. Unfortunate, unforced errors there coming in from NIP, and only big win for them in that is the fact that they did grab themselves a Dragon. And now Aki finishing 2 items on this the Fury. He has so much of a role to just try to find burst backline access. And we've been talking about the people who are ahead in this game, and I'm looking at Sion hitting level 15. This is not a feels good moment, as this replay was exactly what we wanted to see every single time. Tian, if he's vaguely out of position, get the Rakan on top of him, get the Neferi as well, and make it so that we can find ourselves in these positions to get an advantage for ourselves.
Baron up in about 2 minutes. I think we're just waiting for Weibo to get together and be connected for a fight. And, you know, they don't want to fall into the trap of getting continuously picked off like that last one. You know, I'm sure if Tian was around his teammates and this was a straight-up fight, we would have been saying, oh, no question, Weibo is going to win that one. But if you let a team like NIP hang around, you let this Kai'Sa get items, you let this Swain get really, really big, it could cause some problems later. Although Breathe is mighty on the field.
2.5 items here. Doinb picking up a Mortal Reminder, so
oh god,
doesn't have all that much damage. So you should be able to kind of chew through Breathe for the time being. You have Varus, you have Lilia. Let's why not? Let's start this up. It's gonna get spotted with the Kai'Sa W. And Swain is looking for a TP.
Yep, alright, TP gonna get used. Flash is gonna get expended.
Wow!
Aki gonna get knocked up. Shanji now joining the fight. He's alone for right now, but the rest of the team going to try to help him out. Tian is forced all the way out. Breathe taking about 25% of his HP, but not a whole lot more as the Demonic Ascension wears off. Doinb getting tagged by Tian. Tian flashing forward
Tian!
And will put his former teammate to sleep and look to take him out. Doinb not going to be able to escape. Is he going to burn away? No, he will survive. The shield from ppgod was enough to keep him up. Oh, Tian, don't do it to him.
They're trying to find snipes. I thought that was an amazing escape from the entire team of NIP. But Tian and flashing, man, finds 4 people, gets some of those summoner spells out, and even opens up a kill for the side of Weibo. They'll grab the turret in mid as well. The tier 2, really, really fantastic stuff from the side of Weibo. And Tian leading from the front. When we have seen this team succeed, it has mostly come off of his back in a lot of these games. So exciting to see him kind of take charge here, as this right here, he gets the 1 proc on the Doinb. Flash, Q's finds 3. Aki does cleanse it by going untargetable, but I think this was a really impressive play and being able to force out summoner spells from Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, Aki not having that flash now for the next fight is going to be really important. Can't get to these priority targets. And I was just thinking, oh, Urha's done a great job of not getting caught out. He immediately gets caught out. So you can't even think it, AlkBattery. The caster curse is real.
Oh boy. Well, I'm thinking Weibo win, Weibo win, Weibo win, Weibo win. I need Leave to win these games, man.
Oh, bro.
He's so close to the 3rd item.
But I thought you loved Light.
I'm kind of looking at this. I do love Light, but on one hand, he has been getting kind of inted by his support in prior games. He also has had a couple of games that have been, he's had some stinkers, okay? So the Light fan club is looking a bit dim.
It's alright, the sun, the light may rise on that fan club another day. Dragging up in about 40 seconds here, and Weibo, you know, after taking a Drake to break the stacking, now find themselves potentially staring down and NIP getting sold points. So what they'll elect to do is start up this Otacon about 30 seconds beforehand. Weibo Gaming is kind of corralled in this corner here. Urha gets pulled in again, but so does ppgod, and ppgod goes down, but I think Otacon helped out on the back end a little bit, making it a 1-for-1 support trade. Doinb's got to dash out.
Here. Doinb can recall if he feels like he doesn't have enough HP, but this fight is so tentative. Leave is coming in over the wings.
Shanji over the top. Shanji over the top. Here's Leave on the back line, looking immediately for Light. Will be able to find him. Is going to set a shot on Xiaohu next. The Leave is going ham, and he manages to get a kill, but it's
Take out the Otacon!
The Otacon withdraws. Breathe now, chasing down Doinb, flashing on him, and taking him out, chopping him down.
Oh my god, there's only 1 Otacon revive left here. It's just on to Breathe. Massive win there for NIP despite losing the Otacon. It's still 5,000 gold here for the side of Weibo. We're seeing how difficult it is for their team to, find wins. And, I mean, just look at how long it took Leave. He's literally by himself hitting onto Xiaohu and Light, but it just takes way too long. Doinb as a secondary carry is just not there right now. Weibo are starting up this Baron. Nefarious trying to get this Dragon by themselves, so this feels like a weird trade. Weibo for the next 2 minutes will be in a very good spot to be able to push out and get dominating vision, so that in 5 minutes time, hopefully they're in a strong enough position that they cannot allow NIP to walk into this bottom side for this Dragon. As we take a look at this replay.
Yeah, Leave getting to that backline immediately, looking to blow up Knight was so good. but didn't get to mention Breathe with a double knock-up coming through onto Aki and onto Shanji, really disrupting that fight. And then, you know, NIP is like, yeah, we're winning, we're winning. Oh no, they have the recall, the withdrawals, right? Like, if the withdrawals were not a thing, this would have gone much better.
Yeah, the false lives doing a lot of work there. And I'm gonna be honest, Yanni, I look at this team fight, I really feel like Doinb did not do this much damage.
No, it did not feel like it. It was a lot.
I feel like
it's fake damage. This 2-item combo is not good. I know you kind of have to do it to chop down the Scion, but you don't have enough damage, bro.
Yeah, no one is being able to kill this guy. Shanji does have the Riftmaker, which I think is pretty interesting. Does give him some more survivability alongside having the Conqueror, but kind of see this now.
Another nice play by Tian, putting everybody to sleep. Doesn't matter that you're not getting kills. You are getting into the base. You are taking that inhibitor, and Weibo Gaming leveraging their strengths to take full control of this game. They're looking to maybe put it away on the next push.
This is what we needed to see from them, though, with this Baron. A minute and a half before this Baron timer is done. They'll have a couple more waves, especially with these Hextech gates, giving them some more movement. And I'm looking at that Dragon in 3.5 minutes time. That is the kind of big ticker for me. If NIP are able to grab that, getting the Hextech Soul definitely helps augment some of their DPS. It maybe gets them over the hump in this game, where it has been difficult for them to kind of outright win fights. That slow, potentially giving them some more utility as well. And I'm kind of looking at, we're always going to be going back for NIP and this AD carry. Leave hitting 3.5 items, even has the Blighting Jewel, so if he can utilize the range of this Kai'Sa, he can be a very, very deadly threat.
You saw what he was able to do in the Otacon fight. Maybe he's got a miracle in his back pocket. But Weibo Gaming, right back to your regularly scheduled programming, knocking down bot inner turret, looking for this bot inhibitor turret. Their siege is really, really good, right? The poke from Light, you can get tagged by Tian and immediately put to sleep from a bowling ball. It's really hard for NIP to play right now as the hook goes down over on the side along with the seismic shove, and they pick off ppgod to make it a 5v4, and the siege will continue. The culling coming down from Doinb, but it's not enough to kill those minions as the inhibitor will fall as they peel back for the minions in the base.
Ooh, and I like this. Still having Baron 10 seconds. They're going to move into mid lane with this wave that's coming on through. Xiaohu was trying to escort this in. Breathe and Tian can connect very easily into this play. And now it is the end of the Baron buff. They will be able to grab with 4 grubs as well all of the inhibitors. So a lot of gold now here for the side of Weibo.
And NIP gets a look at their base in tatters, and they will be confined to their room for the next couple of minutes. You still have time on the respawns for these inhibitors. I mean, 2 minutes and 50 seconds is a real long time, Alk.
Okay, if you are NIP, I think unfortunately there's a very realistic probability that we are giving up this next dragon, because if we lose this fight, we're probably losing the game. If multiple member goes down, we're probably losing the game. So, what I want to see from them, prioritize getting gold onto Leave. You can kind of see that here. Him and Shanji are sharing farm. I really would like to have Leave get all of this gold, not only because I'm an AD carry player, but
sir.
Item completions are going to be so important for the upcoming fights. If we can finish what looks to be a Void Staff now done here for Leave. Now I'm looking at either Doinb or Shanji getting a Liandry's for this Swain, or getting something like an Infinity Edge for Doinb unlocks a lot of DPS for them. So with triple inhibitors down, all these double super minion waves, there's a lot of golden experience that can potentially be funneled into some of the carries of NIP.
Weibo are not wanting to allow NIP to have that kind of time. You already got the 4th item on Leave, as you pointed out. He's doing well in the CS department, but looking to try to snuff out any hopes of a potential comeback, any hopes of these item spikes saving NIP, as the first Nexus turret is being sieged by the minions. NIP's wave clear is fine. Hook does not land, but another pouring of minion waves into the base.
2 waves at the same time.
It's so tough.
This is tough. Trying to see it.
Can't do anything. ppgod.
Send it now.
He's got to go back. He gets knocked up over on the side. He's down to half HP. Chains of Corruption to go through and get a land. But here we go. We're going to look for Xiaohu. Xiaohu flashes over the wall. Shanji from the front, trying to deal with Breathe, but ppgod had already died. The hook goes down, the Nexus turret goes down, the Swain goes down, everybody goes down, and the Nexus will go down. Weibo Gaming looking really good from start to finish. They'll take game one.
We thought some of their interesting picks were going to be able to cook, but going a little too ham, a little too early there. Light does get themselves a quadra kill to end out this game. And Weibo, in their comeback into this series, the fact that they had to bring in a new support in Erha, calling them up from the LDL, look a lot better here, at least in their first game against Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, the scoreline, as you said earlier, wasn't really sexy or anything like that. He did have one time where he got picked off, but other than that, had a pretty solid game. Good target